Cosplay here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have another cosplay breakdown for you. We're going to talk about my Ysera costume. Now for those of you that don't know, this Ysera costume was designed for me by a Sunset Dragon. I built this costume as a competition piece. I spent over 600 hours laboring on this gown and I ended up taking it to C2E2 where I placed second in the Midwest qualifier at C2E2 in the Crown Championships of Cosplay. So it was incredibly tough competition. There's so many amazing costumes and I feel so honored that they thought I was deserving of second place. For those of you that have not seen the competition, I am going to go ahead and leave a link down below so you guys can check that out and see everybody's amazing work. Alright, well I guess that's it, so let's go ahead and get right into the costume. Alright guys, so the very first item that I have for my costume that I would actually put on, at least for the competition with these, which please don't mind that they don't have a waistband, these were kind of a last minute addition, but these are leggings that completely cover my feet. I built these so that when I lifted the gown up, I was solid purple from head to toe. I wanted a total complete finished look. If I were wearing this at a con, I probably would not wear these. We had a lot of trouble with these falling down because I didn't put a proper waistband in them. I'll have to do that. And I didn't want to put them in the corset because I was like, what if I have to go to the bathroom? Hindsight, I could have taken them off, but it was an adventure with these at C2E2. But when I thought it over, I wanted to make sure that the costume was seamless from head to toe with me being supposed to be a purple pink dragon. So yeah, made those. So we're going to be starting with the undergarments. The very first thing I have that's for the main costume is the petticoat. So the petticoat is everything on this costume is patterned from scratch. I didn't use any existing patterns. I made these. So it's just made with some simple satin. It zips up and snaps in the back. And then the petticoat itself is made of tulle in three different colors of green. So that, everything else is green on the costume. Why not have the petticoat be green? The tulle is finished with ribbon around each section and then also along the bottom edge. So it was nice, pretty green petticoat. So this would be the main first thing I put on the costume. Really need this to create the shape. The next undergarment that has to go on is the corset. This is an underbust corset that I made. I could wear this with any costume that I wanted. I actually made it out of Captain Marvel fabric. Super fun. But I made this because for me, I don't really fit this dress form as well as I used to anymore. So I make corsets and wear them underneath my costume so I can still create the measurements that I like the best. Alright, so the next layer of the gown that's going to go on is the main skirt. So this layer is made entirely of silk dipione except for the lining. It has rhinestoned, it has beaded constellations all over the gown. So every single constellation from Our Night Sky is on this gown along with thousands and thousands of rhinestones. It also has a fully rhinestoned trim pattern design and it's fully beaded along the edge here, and then the inside is completely finished as well. So it's very sparkly and lots of volume. Now when I built this layer, the way the artwork is, it looks almost magical, and it doesn't have seam lines in it that you would traditionally associate with a mermaid type gown. So what I actually did was instead I gathered the fabric around here with a stitch, by stitching just by hand from the inside, very tiny stitches to create some gathering, and I'll show you guys that. And that way you can still kind of create this illusion of it coming in and then going back out. On the inside of the skirt here, I also have pockets. So the pockets, one would hold a smoke machine if I decided to use it, and then the other pocket holds my battery pack. So this is the battery pack for the costume. Hooked up to all the electronics. I can't take credit for this part because I had a friend help me with this, so he built this and did all of the coding, but I created everything else. I did all the wiring. I actually repurposed this from Sylvanas. This is the same battery pack that I used for Sylvanas' costume. So the pack has a board in here and it just has a simple pulse animation on it. So we're gonna go ahead and stick this in. So this goes in the right side pocket. And then we're gonna need to run this through the rest of the costume. The next piece that has to go on is the harness. So this piece here is what holds the back vines into place. And it's just some Warbler that has some Chicago screws that have been glued into the Warbler. And it also has some snaps on it that I use to help hold the top into place as well. So let's see if I can get this tangled myth on here. Goes this way. Excellent. Sits a little bit better on my actual shoulders than it does on the dress form, but you get the idea. And this I just use a safety pin in the back to keep it closed if I'm wearing it. I'm not gonna put one on right now. So the next layer of the costume is the top. So I made this piece here. This is the shirt. Obviously you can see I did some airbrushing on it, and the sleeves are sewn directly to this. This is one of my favorite parts of the costume, is sleeves. And there are wires running up from the jewels. So this thing is entirely internally wired. And there is a wire on the inside that has to go around the back of the costume. And there are also small holes put in for where it goes over the Chicago screws. We're also going to need to take this wire and run it up, I think. Yes. I had to think about that for a second. Like, how does this go again? Yeah, that gets run up through there. You can't tell it's been a while. And actually, this should be tucked into the skirt. So the next layer to go on is the actual shirt, top, whatever. It has this is also made of silk tubione, and it's fully embroidered along with a rhinestone trim down at the bottom here. I also did some smocking along the sleeves here, and it's on both sides. The sleeve cape things are ombre dip dyed, and they also have the constellations that were sewn on and lots of rhinestones. And those snaps that I have put on this here, there are snaps that coordinate on the inside of this top here. So we're not going to zip that all the way up yet because we have other things we have to attach first, namely the back plate here. Alright, so the next piece that has to get attached is this here. This is the back vines. So this was created out of wire that I then covered in foam clay. Then I did the vine-like texture with the foam clay. Of course, I had to pre-wire this before I threw the foam clay on top of the vines. So, I had to go through and I had to wire all of my jewels all over this. And then this has the master switch on it. So this switch I'm able to kind of just tuck away and easily hide so that I can, you know, turn the lights on and off with this without having to worry about you know, trying to get down into my skirt. So, and this is, you know, the final connection point for everything that's in the costume. Now, also, before this goes on, I would have to put this around my neck, and I would also have to put the wig on, because this is kind of like the finalizing piece here. So, like, I have to have help when I get this costume. I cannot put this costume on by myself. So I guess let me also talk about this piece, because I'm going to toss this on the neck. So this piece is my necklace. This was made entirely out of foam and foam clay detailing. The bead strands come off. It also has multiple connectors in it. It has the connector in the back for the wig. It has a connector on the side here that goes to the shoulder area for all of the jewels that are in this. And this, you know, connects. I had to break it at some point, and because there's a crystal on the back in the artwork, I decided to do it off to the center, and it just has Velcro. Now this piece here, the way that it attaches is with some Chicago screws. So I finish it off. This is just a chunk of Warbler that I've drilled holes into that I can put over top of my screws that I have here and then screw it into place. I'll do that now. Now I have to run more wires, which, you know, is a fun part. It's a horrible part of this costume. So whoever's working with me, I have another hole here that we can feed this through. So that can connect to the necklace here. I can also go ahead and hook these up. To their matching connectors. Now that I've got that all fed through, I can go ahead and actually zip up the top. So the next piece that actually does go on the costume is this here. This is like the skirt drapey thingies. I don't even know what the hell to call these. Little tabards maybe, I guess. So these are fully embroidered. And then this piece here was 3D printed. I made the model myself. And then the bottom, once again, these pieces were ombre dyed. They have the constellations on them. Then they had the rhinestoning and beading details. I'll do lots of up-close shots with you guys. I'm gonna like insert all that crap in here. So lots and lots of handwork. And then this is it's basically on like a belt, and there are corresponding snaps on the inside that attach to snaps that are on the top. So everything lines up correctly. Like I used so many snaps on this costume. Friggin' wild. Okay, so the next piece that's going to go on the costume is going to be the armor, belt armor thing. Yeah, this. So this piece was made out of EVA foam. I used foam from both TNT and SKS for this costume. I also used foam clay to, you know, sculpt on the leaf details for this. The inside you can see there is wiring that connects all my jewels. And there are also snaps on the inside here that correspond with snaps on the gown so that everything stays into place, nothing can shift around and not be perfectly centered where it's supposed to be. It also closes with some magnets on the side seam here. Wire for this piece here, there is a break in the seam of the front of the gown here that I've created, and this just feeds right through that into the gown here. Now this is going to connect into the next piece, which is kind of this like little chest plate armor thing that kind of slides down in the front here, and then it also connects up to the necklace with this part here. This is just got a simple jewelry clasp here that connects to a D-ring or a jump ring that's underneath on the necklace. And this here is a wire that connects, you know, the jewels, because everything on this costume, every single jewel in this costume lights up. So we're going to go ahead and connect this first. There are also coordinating snaps again on here, and there are snaps on the inside of the front of the gown. So we'll go ahead and connect this. This piece was also made out of EVA foam and foam clay, and then it has its connector that connects right into my master switch here, and this can get tucked away. And then the master switch is right here. This is what turns all the lights on and off from the battery, so you don't drain the battery. Now on the necklace here as well, we have all the beaded pieces here. These have to connect to the dress. They all have a jewelry clasp on the end, and there is a jump ring sewn on the inside of the dress that they all hook right to. Literally, once I'm in this costume, I don't get out. So now we're going to add the last armor piece. These are the shoulder pieces here. These were also made out of EVA foam, and then I painted them with acrylics. Everything was painted with acrylics on this costume by hand, did all of the washes and highlighting, and then everything was sealed with a top coat. So both of these have snaps on the back as well that have just been glued into place, and they snap right onto the shoulders. So let's go ahead and do that. The last piece of the costume are these. These are, they're called like the hip wings. So these are made with some wire in it, just some aluminum wire, that's really easy to bend. And they're just little wings that I've ombre dyed. They have a piece that's sewn to the end, covered in rhinestones. And then I've also kind of beaded along what would have been, you know, the bones of the wings. And then these have magnets on the inside that have been stitched down, and that's how they attach. One last piece of the costume that I don't have on my dress form, obviously, is I did make gloves as well to make sure that everything is totally seamless. So these are just simple gloves made of spandex. I've glued nails on the end. I would traditionally put these on before the sleeves, so very early on in the process, and pretty much once I've got these babies on, I'm pretty much useless to help whoever's dressing me. So having somebody that knows what they're doing as far as cosplay goes helps significantly with this costume. And so you can see when I put them on, they're so nice. Got my nice purple nails, and they fit just right. And they're long enough so that they tuck up into the sleeve, and well, once they're on, they're on. I can't take them off because there's no way I can get them back on. Now, of course, I can't complete talking about this costume without talking about the wig and the headdress here. This is was a challenge. So the horns here are made from EVA foam. So I basically carved these out of pink foam to get the shape and size that I want. Then I made a pattern from it, and then I made them out of EVA foam, and then I took my Dremel and created all the texture. They were hand painted. These are my favorite paint job on the whole costume. I'm gonna include, I don't really have an album, but if I have posted a lot of progress photos of these on my Instagram. They took a long time to paint because I went through with very tiny paintbrush and did a lot of detailing. This piece here was modeled in 3D, and then I 3D printed it. And then this is a big, jewel on the top here. So all of this is secured. The horns and the jewel are secured on a headband that's on the underside with Chicago screws. Now I learned the hard way, I need to put some padding on the underside of the headband where the screws poke on the underside, because I started to get a headache wearing this. And then this piece on here is actually secured with magnets on the front of the wig. So it actually has the wire here runs in underneath and collects with the wire from this, and they are all, soldered together. And there's a singular wire that comes out the back here, and this connects into the necklace. So that's how it all lights up. Just like I said, the whole costume lights up. There's 2 LEDs in here and then a single in each of these. So there's a little piece of, you know, electrical tape behind these guys here. But there's magnets, and that's how this is suspended basically by magic. And I'm so tall you can't even see the magnets. If you kind of get a little underneath, you can kind of see it, but I've hidden them really well with the hair. And then, you know, the hair is essentially just braided. I apologize for the back, it's a little messy. I haven't cleaned it up since I wore it because it's intermingling with this the whole time I'm wearing it. But the braids are just brought back. They've been pinned into place with some bobby pins, and then it just goes straight down. And then the little pieces in the front here, this is just some aluminum wire that I wrapped around to create the decor that's on the wig here. And then this is just a simple chain that actually has D-rings literally right in the wig, and it sits in between the 2 jewels to create the proper drops, and I can, you know, adjust it if need be. And I have to be careful because if it gets too close to this, the magnets are like shoop, and they suck it right up. But that is how the headdress goes on. It's really not that heavy. The only part that was really bad about wearing this was the fact that I needed like padding on the inside. So I need to make sure before I wear this again, I'm going to put some foam padding on the inside of the headband. And if you want information on how to do something similar to this, check out Cowboy Crunchies, because they did a tutorial on how to create detachable wig pieces using a headband, and Chicago screws like what I did here. So super, super helpful. Yes. One element of a costume I almost forgot: the shoes. I even went as far as to bling out the shoes. So the shoes are fully covered in rhinestones. They took about 8,000 rhinestones to cover. A couple have fallen off since the wearing. I'll have to replace them. But it was a nice little accent, and perfect size heel to give me just the right height when I wear the gown, so it doesn't, you know, drag all over the floor. But yeah, I just have to be extra with everything. What can I say? So unfortunately, with me fumbling around underneath the dress, at some point I snapped one of the wires that was connected to my original battery pack. So that's gonna need, basically I'm gonna have to make a new one. So yay! But I have this other straight up batteries that I can quickly plug in and show you guys how everything lights up. It won't have the pulsing effect, but at least you get an idea of what it looks like when everything is lit. Just gonna briefly plug this in and turn her on. And there you have it. That's how everything looks. Yay, electronics and cool stuff. So as you can see, we have a full circuit that goes all the way around, and every single light works on the costume. Alright guys, and that's it. That pretty much, I think, covers everything as far as Ysera goes. If you guys have any additional questions about the costume, if there's something I missed, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to explain how I built something for you guys. Don't forget to hit that like button if you guys enjoyed this video, and subscribe for additional cosplay content. I've got more tutorials coming out in the next couple Saturdays, along with other cosplay videos, and we'll do more cosplay breakdowns. And that's everything for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!